We've been getting a lot of requests for new websites this year. One of the questions that we kind of get when we do that is, how often should I be redoing my website? Because we're not creating new sites for people that have never had sites before.
Right.
We're doing sites for someone that has had one and it's been around. Some have been around since 1998. Others have been around for 3 years. What's kind of a good benchmark for how often you redo your website?
I always say about every 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
And that's just what I tell folks. And sometimes it really just comes down to technology and how fast and frequently technology is changing. So building a website in 2016 may be extremely outdated from a technology standpoint. If it's never been touched since then, it could be extremely outdated from a search engine optimization perspective. So we don't ever try to just sell a website and build a new website if it's not absolutely necessary. If it's searchable, if it's optimized, and it can convert visitors into customers, that's all you need it for. It is essentially a marketing engine. But if it can't do those things, then absolutely you need to rebuild your website. And that could be just because Google changed their algorithm and your website is completely outdated from a technology standpoint. We like to do a lot of site audits, at least for our ongoing marketing clients, to make sure that we keep up with those technical improvements, sort of like an oil change. But if you're not keeping up with those things and you're not constantly updating and making your website better, a rebuild every 3 to 4 years is probably realistic.
And one of the other things we found with that is, along the lines of technology, it's not just technology of the website, it's technology for the platforms that people are using. Like, for instance, somebody may build a website as recently as 2010.
2012, 13 even.
And yet now, mobile sites are so ubiquitous. I mean, we have clients that 60, 70, 80% of their traffic is coming from a mobile phone or some sort of mobile device as opposed to a desktop version. So rethinking and presenting that information in a platform and in a design that's actionable for that person is another factor to consider. So it isn't always about making it pretty. It really isn't. I mean, from our standpoint, we've seen the best, some ugly sites perform really well. We said, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're working pretty well. At the same time, you do get a new design and you get a little more pride in the organization, as you update those things. And you get the benefit of reaching an audience that is changing the platforms that they're using regularly to connect with you.
And your website, quite frankly, is your face to the world. So it is the first impression. So if it's not a good representation of your company or your brand, like, that's where design and branding, aesthetic things do come into play. But just from a business generation standpoint, all the bells and whistles and how pretty it is doesn't really matter to me as much as does it perform.
Right.
And does it add to the bottom line of your business.
Agreed.